Good evening, guys. It's Sap back again with yet another weird news article. I just finished reviewing a Florida man who whipped out in the middle of a police questioning. He whipped out human bloody ears out of his pants pockets that he had previously cut off of his own grandfather. Pretty fucking grim, but a typical Florida man day in the life story. But today, we're gonna look at the average feminist. We got this woman over here. Let me read the headline. I'm head over heels in love with an oak tree. But it isn't about sex. Press X to doubt, as if you know the famous meme, because I highly doubt that she's just having a love relationship with the oak tree and probably is doing couple little bit of extra things with the tree, but I hope not for the tree because we got to save the trees, of course. Right? Is that from Mr. Beast or whatever he's doing? He's planting like 1 million trees a year. I don't know, but let me read the rest of this article. If you fall for a tree in the woods, does it make a sound? Can you see it on the screen? Yes. A self-proclaimed ecosexual, whatever the fuck that means. And real quick, by the way, if a man did this, I'm not trying to be a manist, the opposite of a feminist, but if a man claimed that he was head over heels in love with an oak tree, trying to shag it, there would probably be a media outrage, because I would say the same for a woman. Either man or woman, leave the oak trees alone. Don't try to touch them and do dirty things like many people's uncles did. But yes, when a man says that he's self-proclaimed ecosexual, that sounds... I think that the media outrage would be a lot more. But let me read the rest of this article. A self-proclaimed ecosexual took nature loving to the extreme after becoming infatuated with an oak tree, which she says fills her with erotic energy. Yes, I guess the front hole is being filled, unfortunately, by one of the branches, but I hope not, again, because the tree, we gotta save the trees. It's very important for the oxygen production, of course. And if she's trying to shag it, the oak trees, it's gonna become a problem for us. There was an eroticism with something so big and so old holding my back. Okay, look, it's like I told you, it's getting fucking more disgusting. Like, you're gonna tell me that she's not trying to do dirty things? I'm very afraid so she is. Sonja Semyonova, 45, told she can maybe still, at the end of the age, maybe still get children with the oak tree, told SWNS of her forest fetish. Holy fuck, I mean... This is, of course, I go by a lot of weird news articles. I review a lot of them. But when I, again, see somebody with a forest fetish, you can never become too grossed out. Well, you actually can, but it's every single day reviewing these weird news articles. I might have to go to the psych ward soon. She is a self-proclaimed ecosexual, defined by Here Come The Ecosexuals, as a person who finds nature romantic, sensual and sexy, and often imagines Earth as their lover. Again, the point I try to make is this is going to sound as some sort of, what is the fucking word, the opposite of a feminist, a chauvinist or something, which Hillary Clinton always said. Crooked Hillary always talked about chauvinist or something, but my point seriously is, and I truly believe this, if a man came out with a news article like this, claiming that he's head over heels in love with an oak tree, claimed that he was ecosexual, and there was eroticism with something so big and so old holding my back, and told about a forest fetish, he would probably be locked up in the psych ward or arrested just in case that he's going to actually do something fucking disgusting or dirty. He probably would have been preventably, if that's a thing, put in a fucking mental hospital. But as I reviewed in last video, I don't even know, because I'm not from the US, but I don't know, is it true in the US that you can get forced, so not voluntarily, but forced mental hospital psych ward admission? Is that true? Because somebody told me that they're going to bring it back to mental hospitals. And I guess, again, you could put the entire population of Twitter in the mental hospital straight away. They'll probably fit the criteria to get admission. But is it true if in the US, if you are a reasonable danger to yourself or others, that you can get put in a psych ward or mental hospital? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there is something like that, you know? But my point is, originally, if a man and not a woman like this said all this and wrote an article like this, not only would he be seriously made fun of way worse than this case, but he probably would have been arrested. Can we agree on that? The Self-Intimacy Guide and Somatic Sex Educator in Training. Is that like a fucking bachelor's degree, master's degree? Somatic Sex Educator. First started pining, whatever that means, for the plans after moving to Vancouver Island, British Columbia in the winter of 2020. Semyonova, who also specializes in erotic storytelling, said she lay eyes on a giant oak tree while on her daily nature strolls during lockdown. Holy fuck, I mean, you always talk about people, what is your profession? I mean, some of the worst professions, if you can call it a profession, people always say like drug dealing or breaking in people's homes and stealing shit. But being an erotic storyteller and talking about giant oak trees in your front halls, maybe that fits the same criteria for being not as respected of a profession in general in society, I think. But I've never met somebody who is an erotic storyteller talking about giant oak trees and forest fetishes, but I hope I never meet one either. I was walking a path near the tree 5 days a week for the whole winter, so she was technically stalking the giant oak tree. Give him some space, right? If you do this to a human being, you probably would get arrested for stalking. The nature lover explained. I noticed a connection with the tree. I would lie against it. Sexual harassment. Again, this is probably your uncle when you were little. I mean, this is not allowed legally. If you're gonna say that you touched and molested the oak tree before it gave consent, and even now, I don't know if the oak tree is even able to give consent. So I would say sexual harassment. Okay, so this is the definitely 100% mentally stable woman, not like a psych ward patient, with her lover, oak tree. But again, the oak tree did not give consent. Believe all oak trees. There's a saying, right? When it comes to, what is it? I'm not from the US, but what is that one Supreme Court, Kavanaugh or something, Brett Kavanaugh, who was accused of doing really gruesome, dirty shit back in the day. And then they said, believe all women. But in this case, I would say, believe all oak trees. And you, like 100%, if the oak tree claims that he was raped, he, she, or they, them, or whatever the fuck pronouns an oak tree uses. But if the oak tree claims that he was molested by this woman, believe all oak trees. And in this case, we already have the evidence, so we don't even need to believe him because we have the evidence. There are, let me select this. There are similarities between sex with people and the eroticism ecosexuals feel with nature, but they're not the same, said Semyonova. Thank you very much for explaining. I mean, this will help me sleep at night right now, because she keeps saying that it's not sexual, but then she's literally, overused word, literally stating there was an eroticism with something so big and so old holding my back. Buddy, you're kind of contradicting yourself. She's a self-proclaimed ecosexual. Again, the fucking word sexual, ecosexual, and she says it's not sexual. Press X to doubt again. But let me continue reading. Another lovely picture of her molesting an oak tree. The naturalist or naturalists' connection continued to grow stronger like a piece of oak until summer 2021. Did the oak tree cheat? Did the oak tree get divorce raped? After all, oh, voice crack. Maybe the oak tree got divorce raped now. Because I don't know if they were married, but he's gonna lose half of his branches, I guess. Half of his fucking roots in the divorce court. Maybe even more. Maybe he's on oak tree child support. Alimony as well. When she started developing erotic feelings for the mighty hardwood. Nah, but honestly, this is seriously the most tragic fucking story I've ever read. This oak tree was so loyal. First even got molested by this woman who said she, at first noticed a connection with the tree and would lie against it without the consent of the oak tree. The oak tree was very fucking loyal. They got married. Oak tree kids, maybe even extra branches. And then this woman fucking cheated by starting to developing erotic feelings for the mighty hardwood. Like, how could you ever cope with those feelings? Like, this oak tree is now clinically depressed and needs to go on SSRI. Or the new antidepressants that are coming out. Based on a completely false theory, by the way, that the serotonin deficiency causes depression, which is, it made the pharmaceutical companies billions of dollars, but that's all that counts, I guess. But let me continue reading on this fucking disgusting cheating story. I'm very feeling truly tragic for the oak tree. Describing her sappy, romantic yearnings, Semyonova said she loves the feeling of being tiny and supported by something so solid, and the feeling of not being able to fall. And this woman keeps talking about how it's not sexual. Keeps talking about how fucking she loves that the tree is so big and so old. This, by the way, confirms again that women go for older guys, and in this case, older oak trees. Because I've seen the younger oak trees, and they didn't have the chance. And the younger oak trees, because they didn't have the chance with the ladies, they started consuming Andrew Tate content, red pill content, shave their head bald, grow a beard, and start talking about dominating females because they don't get a chance, because even the women go even for the older guys, but in this case, the older oak trees. But again, let me continue with my original point. She keeps saying how it's not sexual. And again, she says she loves the feeling of being tiny and supported by something so solid. All right. Not sexual, by the way. That's what she keeps saying. It isn't about sex, sure, buddy. Again, I feel bad for the trees. I mean, they're just being molested, especially by something like this. If fucking, let me come up with something. Jennifer Connelly or something in the movie, what is it called? Career Opportunities. I only figured out about her because she was from the music video Mr. Kitty After Dark. Did not get that song via TikTok, otherwise I should probably be executed if you're on TikTok. But yes, it was a good song, and that's when I found out. But if you were an oak tree and you got molested by a woman like that, at least you could say, okay, that's less of an emotional trauma, but this probably reeks of fish, I'm afraid. So it's depends on who does it again, but it's always bad because the oak tree was not able to give consent. Branching out into love with other life forms might seem weird, but the tree hugger, again, a very, very peculiar name to call yourself a tree hugger, says that being with people just doesn't compare. The presence I feel with the tree is what I'm looking for, but that's a fantasy with a person. Maybe because of your personality. I guess so, and maybe because you don't shower. Semyonova lamented. I had been craving that rush of erotic energy that comes when you meet a new partner, and that is not sustainable. Again, I need to say this one more time. If a man wrote this article, did all the things she did, he would 100% be arrested or would be, criticized much more harshly, because this sounds like, a psych ward patient. Semyonova clarifies. Oh wait, I actually need to read this still. Semyonova said she first noticed the oak. Isn't she talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger? I just realized. Isn't fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger the massively steroid abusing, love children inducing, fucking a bunch of maids in his house and then paying her to shut up and abuse her? That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Lovely individual. Definitely not a narcissist with massive steroid abuse. But isn't he called Arnold Schwarzenegger the Oak? Maybe this is just an illusion, or what is it called? Word? A fantasy for Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I hope not, because he has pancake tits now. And gyno. And probably no testicles left. Because yes, severe steroid abuse is eventually going to induce testicular atrophy. Because the testicles don't need to produce endogenous testosterone anymore. So they lose their size. And he abused the fuck out of steroids, so they're all raisin size now. Semyonova clarifies that she doesn't physically engage in intercourse with the tree, press X to doubt again, but rather the tree erotic experience is all in her mind. Well, it isn't, because she's again molesting the tree over here, did not give consent. A big misconception is that ecosexuality means sex between people and nature. Yes, that's exactly probably what it means, but it's a different way to explore the erotic, the forest fetishist explained. To watch the changing of the seasons is to me an erotic act. You go from death in winter and then everything comes alive in spring and mates. Or couldn't you just say that you are a nature or forest enthusiast or interested in nature? Maybe you're a biologist, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. But if you're going to call yourself an erotic ecosexual, yes, people will get other thoughts. And if you're going to talk about how this oak tree, this mighty hardwood is so strong, solid, big, and you like to touch it and lie your back against it and you're head over heels in love with an oak tree, people are going to get other assumptions. Does that make sense? These salacious plant cravings might seem like a perversion. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so this is the end of the article. Oh no, actually, there's still a little bit, but let me first see this picture again of the woman with either the oak tree, which she cheated on with the mighty hardwood, and divorce raped the oak tree. The oak tree is still recovering, lost his house, or in this case, lost his forest, lost his roots and branches because he had paid the half of it to court. Child support, oak tree child support. But yeah, let me read this. There was an eroticism with something so big and so old holding my back. The leaf peeper described, okay? Yes, definitely not sexual. However, the extreme leaf peeper claims that ecosexuality is already present in a lot of people. And that getting in touch with our roots could solve a lot of the climate issues. Oh no, and they're still going to. Of course, I should have known beforehand. I should have known that something with climate change or climate issues was eventually going to be inserted in this article. But let me tell you something, buddy. You are then contributing to the problem of climate change because you are molesting oak trees, which will then give, and divorce raping them, cheating on them with hardwood, mighty hardwood trees, then getting those trees PTSD, and then they're not able to produce oxygen anymore. So you are contributing to the climate change, I'm afraid. There's a reason we want to go for picnics in parks and hike in nature. So she's insinuating if you go on picnics in parks and hike in nature that you are an ecosexual tree hugger and molester. Okay. Semyonova declared, what we fail to notice is that the reason we want this is to tap into the life force that comes from these things, which is the erotic. Okay. She added, I believe that we could gain from having a more symbiotic relationship with nature. Yeah, sure, as long as you're not trying to fuck oak trees, I'm very happy. So yes, I gotta end the video right now before my hard drive is full of space as usual, because it's fucking SSD and has very little space, but nobody cares. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you were not too grossed out. I hope you didn't puke over your keyboard. And remember, don't molest oak trees. Thank you for watching.